He pulled out his cell phone and said, "Hey, do you want to see some dead bodies?"
A Longboat Key police officer now under investigation why his actions are raising concerns about how the department hires people to its team. Plus, a shock for one Englewood family after a small plane crashed down in their front yard. And another suburb approved for Lakewood Ranch. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Adam Cellini. Thanks for joining us tonight. Scott Dennis and Jacqueline Matter have the night off. Topping our news this hour, the Longboat Key police chief is investigating one of his own officers tonight. Jeffrey Houchins is accused of collecting photos of dead people at crime scenes and then showing them off. Houchins allegedly took the photos at crime scenes he investigated while working for a previous law enforcement agency. ABC 7's Taylor Torregano has more on this investigation.
He pulled out his cell phone and said, "Hey, do you want to see some dead bodies?" So he started showing pictures of crime scene photos from his other agency up in Indiana.
It was September of 2015. At the time, Jeffrey Houchins was a candidate to become a Lakeland police officer. He was in the front office of the department awaiting instruction after completing his written psychological exam. What happened next was recorded in this memo by background investigator Nick Ivancevich, who says Houchins turned to him and asked, unprompted, quote, "Want to see some dead guys," then proceeded to show him numerous pictures of crime scene deaths. In this FaceTime interview, the spokesman for Lakeland PD tells us Ivancevich immediately wrote this up, stating that it could be essential to the background investigation.
It appeared that if he had a gallery of these photographs, so he thought that was a little strange, and it is. And we documented it in a memo and forwarded it to another lady who was doing the complete background investigation. And we just felt that was enough at that point that we did not want him as an officer with the Lakeland Police Department.
So Houchins moved on, next trying the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office, who tells us in this statement, quote, "He was not selected due to several concerns that arose during his background investigation, including prior drug use, reprimands, and a recent suspension at his employer." But it seems these concerns slipped through the cracks when Houchins tried the Longboat Key Police Department. Chief Peter Cummings did not want to go on camera today, citing an internal investigation, but he did tell us that Houchins was canceled on May 10th after releasing photos of a pedestrian who had been hit and killed by a car. Chief Cummings says he only just learned of the incident with Lakeland Police from a recent newspaper article, which led to his decision to launch an internal investigation.
Thank you, Taylor. And it should be noted that both Lakeland and Longboat Key Police Departments say it is not illegal to take pictures of crime scenes, but it is frowned upon. Since reports of this incident first arose, Longboat Key officials have changed their hiring practice, now requiring police candidates to include agencies they have applied to in the last 3 years on their job applications. In other news, new developments tonight involving the 56-year-old grandmother accused of killing a Bradenton woman. Lois Reese appearing in court for the first time today. Reese is accused of killing her husband in Minnesota, then heading south to Fort Myers, where she murdered Pamela Hutchinson. Police say Reese befriended Hutchinson, who looked like her, and then killed her to steal her identity. She then went on the run and was the subject of a nationwide search back in April. Finally arrested in Texas and is now being held in Lee County, Florida. Reese was indicted on charges of first-degree murder with a firearm. Authorities are considering filing additional charges. Almost 2 years after that deadly nightclub massacre in Orlando, some of the surviving victims are filing a lawsuit in federal court. They say the city and police did not do enough to try to stop the shooter at the Pulse nightclub. Gunman Omar Mateen killed 49 people and injured 53. More than 35 victims have signed on to this lawsuit. Orlando police did not immediately respond to an email for comment. Tonight, the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office is investigating what caused a pilot to crash a small plane in the front yard of an Englewood home. That plane went down just before noon on Jamestown Avenue. One of our viewers, Robert Pateski, sent us this video just minutes after that plane crashed. Sheriff's deputies say the pilot was trying to take off from Buchan Airport on State Road 776 at the time. Luckily, no one was hurt, but the plane, as you can see, is totaled. The investigation is now being handled by federal authorities. Lakewood Ranch is still growing. Today, the Manatee County Commission approving yet another residential suburb. Home building firm D.R. Horton will construct this suburb of over 600 single-family homes on what is currently pastures along Eline Road. That is a little more than 1 mile north of State Road 70 and a little over 2 miles south of State Road 64. Now it's time to check on our weather with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan and our first alert forecast. Bob?
Good evening, everyone. Speaking of Lakewood Ranch, here it is. A beautiful day today. From 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you can see just a few fair weather cumulus clouds moving across the sky. Off in the distance, you'll notice in the left-hand corner there, we'll start to see some building of some storms there. Some outflow boundaries are kicking off a few inland showers and storms, but if you have a walk along the beach tonight planned, not a problem at all. And it looks like any outdoor activities near the coast should not be an issue. And 91 degrees, that's what it feels like. So much better than the 99 it was like back on Monday. The barometer, that's rising 30 inches even. That's good news for the weekend too. As high pressure moves in, typically you shut down any kind of significant rainfall event, and that's what we're going to see. We still have this pesky little trough of low pressure out in the Gulf of Mexico. This is going to give us a chance for some showers on into Friday morning, and lately it's really exploded out there in the Gulf of Mexico, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as it moves closer and closer to us. It's still over 90 miles to our west, so we're not anticipating that being a problem tonight. Some showers, as I mentioned, starting to build here into the eastern portions of our viewing area. Those are pushing off to the east, but all in all, up and down the coast will stay dry. Different story, though, tomorrow. Well, much more on this system. And we'll take a sneak peek at, yes, what could be another tropical system coming up in a few minutes. Adam?
Thank you, Bob. A follow-up now on the court battle aimed at restoring felons' voting rights. 8 states are now backing Governor Rick Scott and other Florida officials following their appeal of a decision by a U.S. district judge. That judge found Florida's system of restoring felons' voting rights unconstitutional. The other states described the ruling as a, quote, attempt to defy federal and state law by dictating the manner in which state executive officers grant clemency. The current system requires felons to wait 5 to 7 years after completing their sentences before they can apply to have their rights restored. Thanks to a Supreme Court ruling, states other than Nevada can authorize sports betting, but how long before Florida gives it some consideration? According to one local lawmaker, it probably won't be anytime soon. State Representative Joe Gruder says he would support an initiative to expand gambling in the state, but there are several hurdles, including a constitutional amendment on the November ballot that would prevent lawmakers from passing any future gambling legislation.
There's not a huge push to expand any type of gambling, so I think this may meet some resistance.
Coming up in less than an hour on ABC 7 at 7, a local gambler explains how authorizing sports betting could make life safer for the thousands of people already doing it online. The 3 groups who worked together to convince the Atlanta Braves to move their spring training operations to the Suncoast are the recipients of a top award. The Florida Economic Development Council awarding the 2018 Regional Deal of the Year Award to the city of Northport in Sarasota County and the West Villages District in Florida. The council selected this project because the new spring training complex guarantees the Braves will stay in Florida for the next 30 years. That deal has an estimated economic impact of $1.7 billion over the life of the contract. High school students in Manatee County are racing towards the finish line in a contest that will test their physics and engineering skills. Perspective Racing is a race that takes place annually with teams from all over the world. It's a Formula One STEM initiative competition with a team comprised of 7 students. To prepare for the competition, the team spent the year designing and building their own mini cars weighing less than a pound that can reach speeds up to 40 miles per hour. The team's advisor says the real-world skills for these teens is immeasurable.
You know, not too many kids can say when they go to college that they've been in a competition and they basically ran a business and, you know, fundraised $50, $60, sometimes $70,000 is what we need to compete in this competition.
They go to a national competition next week in Austin, Texas, and if they come top 2 out of all the teams there, they will move on to the world competition in Singapore. And we wish them the best of luck. Well, still to come on your Suncoast News, a rare sighting off the coast of Anna Maria Island, why scientists say it's so unusual to see these types of animals in our area. And the battle over oil along Florida's coastline heats up, the support that is giving proponents of drilling some momentum.
everybody can make something, because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
I heard about the Dotole Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotole Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Dotole Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
My credit score was not that great.
I didn't understand what went into my credit score.
It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach.
Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free.
You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
President Trump met with Japanese Prime Minister Abe ahead of next week's North Korea summit. Abe requested the visit, making today's meeting his 7th with President Trump. ABC's Serena Marshall tells us about the mounting pressure over a deal.
With the historic summit between President Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un just days away,
I think I'm very well prepared.
Mr. Trump sitting next to the Japanese Prime Minister, confident he's ready to go.
I don't think I have to prepare very much. It's about attitude. It's about willingness to get things done. But I think I've been preparing for the summit for a long time.
The summit was only officially back on last Friday. But this meeting with Japan comes days before both leaders attend the G7 Economic Summit, today focused heavily on North Korea. Japan's concerned they could get left behind in any North Korea deal after Secretary Mike Pompeo said this during his April confirmation hearing.
The purpose of the meeting is to address this nuclear threat to the United States.
That means the U.S. could strike a deal that would eliminate long-range missiles that would strike the U.S., while allowing the regime to keep the short and medium-range ones that threaten Japan. Today, the president reiterated the U.S. will accept nothing less than denuclearization, even if he didn't define what that means to America.
They have to denuke. If they don't denuclearize, that will not be acceptable.
And at a press conference, a hint as to how to judge the upcoming summit.
And if you hear me saying we're going to use maximum pressure, you'll know the negotiation did not do well.
The president added that if it goes well, he could invite Kim Jong-un to the United States. But even still, there was a caveat, saying the meeting is always subject to change. One other issue Japanese Prime Minister Abe pushed Mr. Trump on, the release of Japanese citizens held by North Korea. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
In other news, proponents of drilling for oil and natural gas are not giving up on tapping areas closer to Florida's shoreline. The American Petroleum Institute is announcing a multi-state Explore Offshore coalition. The coalition supports the Trump administration's plan to open parts of the Atlantic Ocean and eastern Gulf of Mexico to oil and gas drilling. The coalition's Florida team is focused on the eastern Gulf waters. The executive director for the Florida Petroleum Council says Floridians use more than 25 million gallons of motor fuel a day, while the industry is restricted from areas that potentially have oil.
We need to do it in an environmentally responsible manner, but we must go forward. And I think that it's really putting your head in the sand if you think that we're not going to need a lot more oil and gas into the future, and we can rely only on alternative fuels.
Several Florida leaders, including Governor Rick Scott and U.S. Senator Bill Nelson, have denounced the possibility of opening to drilling nearly all of the nation's outer continental shelf. A rare sighting off the coast of Anna Maria Island, fishermen spotting 5 whale sharks about 40 miles off the coast of Anna Maria Island. The whale sharks are the world's largest fish and have been spotted in the Gulf before. Scientists here at home at Mote Marine Laboratory say their visits to waters around here are few and far between. According to scientist Dr. Bob Huter, the creatures are vulnerable and said to be even endangered in some areas.
We're really looking for help from the fishing, boating community to let us know about sightings that have occurred in the last 12 to 24 hours and get that information to us as quickly as possible so that we can get out and find those sharks.
Mote scientists want to put these tracking devices on the sharks so they can learn more about them. Dr. Huter says there's very little known about these creatures and why they might be in our area. And Bob, you have had a run-in with a whale shark.
Yeah, fascinating creatures. To see them out there swimming around. I think the one that we saw was about 25, 30 feet in length. Yeah, much bigger than our boat, but Captain Johnny Walker got the call on the radio, and then we went out there and checked it out, and sure enough, spectacular sight. Once in a lifetime thing. I haven't only seen it one time in 33 years. We are looking at this photo right here. This has only happened 12 years now. This is my daughter's birthday today. Happy birthday, Emma. 12th birthday, 13, right around the corner. She's jumping for joy as the weather was perfect for her day off. And I'll tell you what, beautiful weather for all the area beaches we had up and down the coast. Now, there's a little red tide being reported. In fact, we're getting medium reports now of some red tide as far as the concentrations go. Into Inglewood, there has been some reported fish kills as well as into respiratory problems near Venice, and there's samples being reported even in Manatee County now, some medium levels of red tide, which is strong enough, by the way, to cause fish kills. The full report comes out tomorrow from the FWC. We'll see how that plays out. Tomorrow's forecast looks like this: a few showers around, but not enough to spoil your beach plans, I don't think. In the morning, there's a little bit better chance for some coastal showers even into the early afternoon. Then most of it should start to move inland like we're seeing today later on in the afternoon and evening. We still have this persistent trough of low pressure out here in the Gulf of Mexico that refuses to budge. It's still out there creating some pretty big storms right now, about 90 miles offshore of the Suncoast. And you can see some storms building in Hillsborough County right now, also into our interior counties like Hardy County, getting some pretty heavy storms or some outflow boundaries, creating some showers as a result of the west wind meeting those outflow boundaries and popping up near Wauchula and just south there, Zolfo Springs. And this forecast model is showing that some of this energy will move in during the early morning hours on Friday, and then the main focus will be inland. Now, that was one high-resolution model. There's another model that's suggesting maybe scattered showers in the morning on the coast and even up until about 1 or 2 o'clock, and then most of it inland. The high pressure is still to the south, but it is working slowly in our direction. That's why the pressures are starting to come up now. That persistent trough is still there, though, and we'll be there on Friday. But I think by the weekend, it starts to fade away a little bit, and we're continuing to watch this area. Very active shower and thunderstorm pattern. Nothing organized at this point. There's one tropical storm off in the Pacific, but the GFS forecast model continues and has done so for the past 5 days. Now, since we're only less than 8 days away from what possibly could be something, we're going to go ahead and show this to you. Normally, I don't show the GFS 10 days out because it sometimes spins things up rather quickly. incorrectly and sometimes falsely. But this one has been rather consistent, and it was pretty accurate in Alberto too. And you can see this system moving right in the eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico, similar to Alberto, and then pushing off in toward the panhandle of Florida. You look at the dates here. This is Thursday of next Thursday and into Friday. So that would be the time we'd see it if we were going to see it at all. The European, by the way, and I showed this at 5:30, not showing that system at this point. Well, the temperatures will move away from that tropics and get to the current conditions. 85 now, nice day, nice evening as well planned right near the coast. The water temperature at 82 degrees. And as far as the forecast winds go, they'll be light now that high pressure is starting to build back in. So some light winds, and they'll be varying from the east to southeasterly direction. And then again, that sea breeze developing in the afternoon on Saturday and Sunday. And that rain chance, so it goes down, so the weekend is looking good. You'll see that here in a minute in the 7-day. Southeast winds turn to the southwest for boaters at 10 knots. Here's the forecast then. 40% chance for showers and even a few isolated thunderstorms scattered about on Friday. We drop down to 20 on Saturday and Sunday. It looks good too, albeit warm, upper 80s for highs to near 90 degrees east of the interstate. And then we'll be watching the tropics closely come Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Adam?
All right, thank you, Bob. When we return here on ABC 7, a classic tale comes to life on a local stage. When and where you can rediscover The Jungle Book.
Next week, the high-stakes historic summit. President Trump, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un. Will they give up their nuclear weapons? What will they demand in return? David Muir from Singapore, starting Sunday. World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean works on all CPAP machines and popular masks, destroying CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and in just minutes, voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398. Or visit SoClean.com today.
Our nurse, Jennifer, all we did is pick up the phone if I was having a bad day, and the next thing we know, she was here at the door. I can't believe that I would have received any greater care anywhere. From that moment on, everything changed dramatically, and I don't know what we would have done without that.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year So hurry in before the best selections are gone. The hot summer savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs as Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Starting this week, the Oslo Theater in Sarasota presents the world premiere of The Jungle Book, a reimagined adaptation of Rudyard Kipling's classic novel. The family-friendly production previews on June 6th through the 8th and opens June 9th through the 24th. You can catch the action in the Mertz Theater, located in the FSU Center for Performing Arts. It is recommended for children ages 5 and up. It's certainly one of my favorites growing up, but the animated version, not necessarily plays, but I'm sure it's a cool experience still.
Something to do. The kids out of school, they got some time, and they can check that out.
You can dodge the sun for a couple hours.
Yeah,
Why
exactly,
not?
especially in the afternoon when it gets to the 90-degree temperature.
There you go. Well, thanks for joining us. World News Tonight with David Muir is next. We'll see you again at 11.
My credit score was not that great. I didn't understand what went into my credit score. It was overwhelming.
Do you want to attain better credit health but don't know where to start? Credit Sesame can help by providing you a free credit score.
I love the app. It's so easy to use. It's like having your own financial coach. Credit Sesame broke my credit score down into things that I understood, and it made me think, I can do this.
And the awesome thing about Credit Sesame, it's free.
It's 100% free. You don't need to go it alone. Get started today at creditsesame.com.
My California closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
When I was growing up, my mom told us, always treat others the way you want to be treated. She did business with companies that shared her values, like Mutual of Omaha. She had a guaranteed whole life insurance policy through United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, a Mutual of Omaha company. When my mother passed away, her United of Omaha policy helped cover her funeral expenses and bills, and they had money on its way to us within 24 hours.
United of Omaha is here to take care of you. When you call the number on your screen, we'll help find the right policy for you. If you're between 45 and 85, you can get coverage up to $25,000 with no medical exam. Call us right now at the number on your screen.
Now I know I'll be taking care of my family, even after I'm gone.
United of Omaha guaranteed whole life insurance. Call or go online now. Be there for their future.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here, because
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds. No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G-Freed has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G-Freed Flooring America. G-Freed Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.